If your rent is $2,000 a month, are you actually safe, or already broke, and you just haven't hit the wall yet? Picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, scrolling through email, when you see it. Lease renewal, new monthly rent, $2,000. You do that little mental shrug. I mean, $2,000 is just what rent costs now, right? My landlord approved me. I'm paying it. I guess that means I can afford it. Now imagine I pause that scene and throw three numbers on the screen. The typical single American makes somewhere between $45,000 and $60,000 a year. The typical couple makes around $70,000 to $90,000. The old 30% of income on housing rule says you're supposed to be spending $1,100 to $1,700 on rent. Not $2,000. Suddenly that $2,000 doesn't just feel normal anymore. It feels questionable. Because if your take-home pay is like $3,200 a month and $2,000 of it is rent, you're not living the city life. You're one bad Tuesday away from disaster. That gap right there, between what landlords will approve and what actually keeps you safe, is what I want to talk about. My name is Alex, and I spend way too much time breaking down the uncomfortable math behind normal modern life, especially stuff like $2,000 rent that everyone around you seems to think is fine, until it isn't. If you're paying close to $2,000 right now, or thinking about signing a lease at that number, this is for you. Because in this video, I'm going to take three real-world incomes, $50,000, $70,000, and $100,000, and build out simple monthly budgets with $2,000 rent. Show you, dollar by dollar, who can actually handle it, and who is just pretending. Explain why approved by your landlord does not mean you're okay. And then give you clear guidelines. At what income level is $2,000 rent reasonable? Who should be seriously considering roommates or cheaper areas? And if you do pay $2,000, what's the minimum you absolutely must be investing so you're not still broke at 40? By the end, I want you to be able to look at that $2,000 number and instantly know, this is safe for me. Or, this is a slow-motion financial car crash. Let's start with the thing everyone thinks they understand, the 30% rule. 1. The 30% rule versus 2026 reality. You've probably heard this rule somewhere. You should spend about 30% of your income on housing. So if you make $50,000 per year, $4,167 per month gross, 30% equals $1,250. $70,000 per year, $5,833 per month, 30% equals $1,750. $100,000 per year, $8,333 per month, 30% equals $2,500. This rule was invented decades ago when health insurance was cheaper, student loans were smaller or non-existent, car payments weren't $600 a month, and subscriptions meant a magazine, not 14 auto charges on your card. In 2026, the 30% rule is cute, outdated at best, dangerous at worst. Because it's based on gross income, not what you actually take home. It doesn't care if you also have $500 in loans and $600 in car payments. It was designed for lenders and policy people, not for your actual quality of life. But even with this outdated, generous rule, look at that first case. Someone making $50,000 should be at about $1,250 for housing. $2,000 is well above that. And remember, that's 30% of gross. If we use take-home pay, the story gets harsher. Let's run the numbers. 2. Case 1. $50,000 income with $2,000 rent. Well, keep this simple and realistic. Assume single person, no kids. $50,000 gross income. After federal, state, and payroll taxes, take-home might be around $3,200 per month. This varies by state, but we're ballparking. Now drop in $2,000 rent. Fixed housing. Rent, $2,000. Remaining, $1,200. Already, rent is $2,000 divided by $3,200 is almost equal to 62.5% of take-home pay. The old rule of thumb says housing should be 25 to 30% of what you take home if you want margin. We're already double that. But let's keep going, because life is more than a lease. Basic utilities v. bills. Electricity/gas, $100. Internet, $60. Cell phone, $80. Total basic utilities, $240. Remaining, $960. Food. You're not eating caviar here. Groceries, $300, cooking most meals. Eating out/coffee/snacks, $150, being pretty modest. Total food, $450. Remaining, $510. Transportation? Let's say you're not even being wild, just normal. Modest car payment, $300. Insurance, $120. Gas/public transit, $100. Total transportation, $520. Remaining, $10. We're already negative before. Clothing. Personal care, haircuts, toiletries. Health insurance premiums/copays. Subscriptions, Netflix, Spotify/whatever. Debt payments, student loans, credit cards. Saving anything. Realistically, you'd have to skimp hard on food, not have a car and live right next to work, or carry a credit card balance every month. With $50,000 income and $2,000 rent, you are not living in the city, having fun. You are mathematically living paycheck to paycheck. All it takes is one medical bill, one car issue, one layoff. And you're swiping credit cards or borrowing from family. Can someone making $50,000 technically pay $2,000 rent? Sure. If they have no car, no debt, and live like a monk. But is it safe? Is it something you can sustain and still build a future? Not even close. Let's step it up. 3. Case 2, $70,000 income with $2,000 rent. Now, let's say you're doing a bit better. Maybe you've been working a few years, got some raises, or you're in a decent paying field. Income, $70,000 per year. Rough take home after taxes, around $4,200 per month. This is very middle class. This is where a lot of people start thinking, okay, now I can afford a nice one-bedroom for myself. Fixed housing. Rent, $2,000. Remaining, $2,200. Housing is now about $2,000 divided by $4,200 is almost equal to 47.6% of take-home. Better than 62%, but still way over that 25 to 30% comfort zone. Let's keep going. Utilities v. bills. Well, keep similar numbers. Electricity/gas, $120, slightly bigger place. Internet, $70. Cell phone, $90. Total, $280. Remaining, $1,920. Food. With more income, your lifestyle usually creeps up. Groceries, $350. Eating out/coffee/delivery, $250. Total food, $600. Remaining, $1,320. Transportation? Maybe you upgraded the car a bit. Still not crazy. Car payment, $400. Insurance, $140. Gas/transit, $120. Total transportation, $660. Remaining, $660. Other essentials. Health insurance premiums/copays, your share $150. Subscription/entertainment, $60. Clothing/personal care, $100. Total, $310. Remaining, $350. Debt payments. If you've got student loan, $200. Small credit card payment, $50. Total, $250. Remaining, $100. That's $100 a month left. In a good $70,000 job. And we have no emergency savings in this budget. No retirement contributions. No investing. No real travel. No gifts/family emergencies. No life happens cushion. So technically, yes, a single person making $70,000 can hold a $2,000 lease. But any surprise expense pushes them negative. Car repair. Vet bill. Friend's wedding trip. Rent increase next year. And long term? $100 per month into investments is not moving the needle fast enough. $1,200 saved per year before life gets in the way is not building a strong future. You're not in immediate crisis here. But you're definitely not thriving. You are one bad break away from drifting back toward the $50,000 scenario. Now, let's look at when $2,000 starts to make real sense. 4. Case 3, $100,000 income with $2,000 rent. This is the territory everyone on the internet talks about. Six-figure income. Doing well. People assume you've got it figured out. Income, $100,000 per year. Rough take-home pay, around $6,000 per month, varies by state. Housing. Rent, $2,000. Remaining, $4,000. Housing is now $2,000 divided by $6,000 equals 33% of take-home. Still a bit high, But finally near the classic third of your income rule on net pay, not gross. Now we can build a sustainable life. Utilities v. bills. Electricity/gas, $130. Internet, $80. Cell phone, $100. Total, $310. Remaining, $3,690. Food. Lifestyle is nicer, but let's not go insane. Groceries, $400. Eating out/coffee/delivery, $350. Total, $750. Remaining, $2,940. Transportation? This is where a lot of six-figure folks blow it, but well, keep it reasonable. Car payment, $450. Insurance, $150. Gas, $150. Total, $750. Remaining, $2,190. Other essentials. Health insurance premiums/copays, $200. Subscription/streaming/basic entertainment, $100. Clothing/personal care/small extras, $150. Total, $450. Remaining, $1,740. Debt v. savings. Let's say you've still got student loans, $250. Maybe a small remaining credit card payment, $50. Total debt payments, $300. Remaining, $1,440. Now we're finally at the part that actually matters. What can you save and invest? If you put $500 to $800 per month into retirement/investments, add another $200 to $300 into an emergency fund until you've got 3 to 6 months saved, you could easily invest $600 to $1,000 per month. Still have $400 to $800 a month for fun, bigger trips, or extra savings. That's the difference. At $100,000 income, $2,000 rent is doable. You can cover life, save, and invest if you don't go crazy everywhere else. At $70,000, $2,000 rent is borderline. It leaves you almost no margin. You're one life event away from trouble. At $50,000, $2,000 rent is a slow bleed into debt. You're surviving, not living. 5. Approved by landlord is not equal to actually affordable. Here's the part that messes people up. Your landlord or property manager will absolutely approve people for $2,000 rent who cannot truly afford it. Because from their perspective, if you make 2.5x or 3x the rent in gross income, they're covered on paper. If you default, they keep your deposit and find someone else. Their risk is spread out across dozens or hundreds of tenants. They are not looking at your car payments, looking at your debt, caring whether you can save for emergencies, caring whether you can invest for retirement. They just care if is this person likely to pay us before they pay anyone else? Approved simply means we think you're desperate enough for housing that we'll get our $2,000 before your credit card bill. That's it. Same with mortgage pre-approvals, by the way. But that's another video. So when you get a yes on a $2,000 apartment, do not hear a professional has verified this is financially wise. Here, a professional has verified we can probably extract this money from you every month without you immediately defaulting. Big difference. 6. So, who can actually afford $2,000 rent? Let's put some simple guidelines down, based on everything we just walked through. These aren't perfect for every situation, but they're a solid starting point. 1. Look at take-home pay, not gross. Forget the nice-sounding salary number. How much hits your bank account each month? If you take home less than or equal to $3,500 per month, roughly up to $55,000 gross, $2,000 rent is a hard no. You're in survival mode. If you take home $3,500 to $4,500 per month, roughly $55,000 to $75,000, $2,000 rent is danger zone. You'll survive, but have almost no savings or investing ability. Only consider it if you have no debt, very low transportation costs, and a clear, fast path to higher income. If you take home $5,000 to $6,000 per month, roughly $80,000 to $100,000, $2,000 rent is potentially fine if your other big expenses are in check and you're still investing meaningfully. If you take home $6,000 plus and are smart with other spending, $2,000 rent can be completely reasonable. The risk is more about lifestyle creep than pure affordability. 2. Use this simple ratio. Try to keep your total housing cost, rent plus utilities, to 25 to 30% of take-home pay. For a quick check, take home $3,200 safe housing, $800 to $960. Take home $4,200 safe housing, $1,050 to $1,260. Take home $6,000 safe housing, $1,500 to $1,800. At 35%? You're stretching. At 50 to 60%? You're in a trap, even if everyone around you is doing the same thing. 3. Roommates in cheaper areas aren't failures, they're tools. If you run this math and realize, okay, at my income, $2,000 would wreck me. That does not mean you're losing at life. It means you're seeing reality before it smacks you. Smart moves at lower incomes include sharing a place with roommates to get your personal housing costs down, living slightly further from the cool area to cut $300 to $500 off rent, choosing an older building versus a shiny new one with amenities you barely use. Every $200 lower your rent is $2,400 per year you can put toward debt, savings, or investing. Cutting rent from $2,000 to $1,400 while you make $55,000 is not being a loser. It's giving yourself the chance to actually build a life instead of just paying for a zip code. 7. If you're paying $2,000 now, raise the minimum you should still be doing. Okay, one more piece, because a lot of you watching this are already in a $2,000 lease. If moving or changing your situation right now isn't realistic, your job is to make this as temporary and as safe as possible. 2 non-negotiables. A. Build at least 1 month of bare-bones expenses. Figure out how much you need just to survive 1 month. Rent plus utilities. Food. Minimum debt payments. Basic transportation. Multiply that by 1.0, that's your first emergency fund goal. If you're paying $2,000 in rent, that might be $2,000 rent, $300 utilities/internet/phone, $400 food, $400 transportation, $300 debt/other essentials. Total, $3,400. Until you have at least that much in cash, any surprise can push you into deeper debt. So even if it's $100 to $200 per month, automate it into a do not touch savings. B. Invest something every month, tied to your rent. Raise a rule that will sound brutal but will save you. If you can afford $2,000 in rent, you should be investing at least 10 to 15% of your take-home pay, even if that means your lifestyle feels tighter. So if you take home $4,200 per month, invest 10% equals $420 per month minimum. If you can't do that and pay $2,000 rent, the rent is too high for your current income. Maybe not forever, but for right now. Because here's the trade-off no one says out loud. Every extra $200 you pour into rent above what you can safely handle is $200 that's not killing your debt. $200 that's not building an emergency fund. $200 that's not compounding for future you. And future you is going to show up faster than you think. 8. One simple, painful exercise that might change your next lease. When this ends, I want you to do a quick 2-minute check. 1. Write down your monthly take-home pay. 2. Write down your rent plus an estimate for utilities, electricity plus internet plus any fixed building fees. 3. Divide housing costs by take-home pay. 4. Ask out loud. Am I under 30%? Between 30 to 40%? Over 50%? Then ask one more question. If I lost my job tomorrow, how many months could I realistically pay this rent before I'm in full crisis? If the answers scare you, good. That's your brain waking up. You don't have to move out tomorrow. You don't have to fix this by next week. But you now know whether $2,000 is safe for you, or whether it's a number you should treat like a temporary emergency, not a permanent lifestyle. Everyone online is yelling, stop wasting money on rent, buy a house. Meanwhile, a lot of people can't even safely afford the rent they already have. The real goal isn't homeownership. The real goal is margin, money left over every month to handle emergencies, pay down debt, invest for your future. You can have margin renting. You can have margin owning. You can also be broke both ways. So before you sign or renew that $2,000 lease, make sure you're answering the right question. Not, will they approve me? But, can I live here, save, invest, and still sleep at night? If the math says no, believe it. Your landlord isn't going to save you. You're going to have to save yourself.